There are 4 things you should never say to a real estate agent. Not because they're rude, because every one of them can cost you thousands of dollars on your next home purchase. Some buyers lose 10 grand, some lose 30. Most never figure out where their money actually went. I'm a realtor, and I'm about to tell you the stuff that my own industry doesn't want you to know. The phrases listing agents wait for you to say at every open house. The ones that get fed back to the seller before you even get to your car. Stick around to the end because phrase 4 is the one no one warned you about, and it's the one that unfortunately costs the most. I'm Michael Sabbath, a lifelong Tulsan realtor and somebody who's watched too many buyers walk into open houses and accidentally hand over 20 grand of negotiating power in the first 30 seconds. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what not to say, what to say instead, and how to walk into your next home with every dollar of your leverage intact. Real quick, I put together a totally free guide called the No BS First Time Homebuyer Blueprint. Walks you through every step of buying a house in plain English. Link is in the description below. Grab it before you do anything else. Now, let's start with the phrase almost every first-time buyer says without thinking. Oh my God, I love this house. Bad move. Look, I get it. You walked in, the kitchen's gorgeous. The natural light is hitting just right. Your brain is already painting the walls and picking out where your couch is gonna go. But unfortunately, the second you say it out loud at an open house especially, you just handed the listing agent your entire wallet. Here is what most buyers don't understand is every listing agent like myself is trained to relay the stuff back to the seller. The literal job description includes reading buyer body language, picking up on phrases like, I love it, or is this the one, or honey, I can see is here. And the second they hear those words, they pick up the phone, they text the seller, and they say, I think we have an emotionally attached buyer. That seller now knows 2 things. Number 1 is you're not walking away, and 2, you're going to pay more to get this house. It doesn't matter what your max budget actually is. They're going to push you to the top of it. I've watched this play out my entire career. Couples walk in, falls in love, says the wrong thing, ends up paying tens of thousands more than they actually needed to. So here is what you do instead is keep your damn face flat. Walk through the house like you're inspecting a used car. Point out the carpet, point out the dated bathroom, find the things wrong with it. Yeah, this is decent. I'd want to see what else is out there. Save your emotions for the car ride home because the next thing buyers say sounds responsible. Most of them think they're being smart. They're actually telling the agent exactly how much extra that they're willing to pay for. Oh man, we are pre-approved for 400 grand. Oh, it's so brutal. This is the one that gets me the most is buyers genuinely think they're being responsible. They think showing the agent a pre-approval letter makes them look like a serious player. What they're actually doing is announcing the absolute ceiling on what they can spend. Let's run through what just happened. Your pre-approval is for 400 grand. The house is listed at 380. You come in with an offer at 360. The listing agent already knows you've got $40,000 of room above asking, so they push the seller to counter higher. They tell the seller this buyer can absolutely go 390, maybe more. And suddenly that house you wanted to buy at 360 just cost you 385. You gave them the ammunition and they unfortunately they used it. Here's the part most buyers don't think about is the listing agent's entire job is to get the seller the highest possible price. That's not an opinion, that's their fiduciary duty. These guys are legally obligated to push for the seller's number, so when you walk in handing them information about your max budget, you are literally arming the person whose job is to outmaneuver you. What to say instead is tell them your target shopping range, not your max. I'm shopping in the 320 to 350 range. That's the number that they get. That's the only number they get. Your pre-approval letter goes to your lender and your buyer's agent, period. Nobody else needs to see it. So if a listing agent ever asks for your pre-approval letter, your answer is I'll send it over with the offer, not before, never before. Now the next one is where buyers really shoot themselves in the foot. They think they're showing strength. They're actually telling the sellers, you don't need to negotiate with me. Quick pause, 2 down, 2 to go. And honestly, the next next two are where it gets really good. If any of this is making you go, oh shit, I've said that, well, that's exactly why I put the free blueprint together. The no BS first time home buying blueprint walks you through every step of buying a house in plain English. Way more detail than I can pack into this video. Link is in the description below. It's going to literally cost you nothing. And if you're in Tulsa or moving to Tulsa, my Calendly link is also right there too. Let's run your numbers together. Now let's get into phase 3. We're paying cash. We have plenty of savings. Buyers think this makes them look strong. It actually tells the seller they don't need to negotiate hard. Think about it. If a seller hears the buyer is paying cash or has plenty of savings, what's the seller's incentive to come down on price? To cover any closing cost? To agree to any repair credits? Zero. The seller's incentive is zero because you already told them you can afford to pay more, so they're going to make you pay more. The cash buyer brag costs people in 3 specific ways. 1, sellers refuse to come down on price because they assume the buyer doesn't care. 2, sellers refuse to cover closing costs because the buyer can clearly afford it. And 3, sellers refuse to do any repair credits because the buyer has money to fix things themselves. You wanted to feel like a stronger buyer. What you actually did was weaken every part of your negotiating position simultaneously. And here's the truth most buyers don't get. Paying cash is a real advantage in a deal, but only if it's revealed strategically by your agent at the offer stage, not bragging about it during the tour. Your agent uses cash position as leverage. My buyer is paying cash, can close in 14 days, no financing contingency. That is a powerful offer. That's a reason a seller picks you over a buyer with financing. But you walking into the model home announcing we're paying cash before you even see the property, that's just giving money away. What you do instead here is keep your financing situation private until your buyer's agent decides when to deploy it. Your finances are not a topic of casual conversation. This is a very strategic asset. Now, phase 4, the one I told you to stick around for, the one that costs buyers the most money, the one I see happen almost every single deal where the buyer doesn't have proper representation. Well, what's the lowest the seller would take? That's the question. The one buyer asks thinking they're being savvy, cutting through the noise, skipping the dance, and getting to the real number. Let me tell you what actually happens when you ask that question to a listing agent. You just told them 2 things at the same time. 1, you have no idea what this house is actually worth because if you knew the comps, you would never need to ask. 2 is you're prepared to base your offer off whatever the number they give you. So they give you a number, and that number is not the lowest the seller would take. It's the highest number they think you'll accept as the lowest. Those are completely different. The listings agent's job is to get the seller the most money, period. That is their legal obligation. They are not your friend in this negotiation. They're not on your team. They are paid to get you to pay the highest possible price. So when you ask them what the seller would take, the answer you get is engineered to extract the maximum out of you. And here's the killer. Most buyers actually trust that number. They take the answer, adjust their offer to match it, and never check it against actual market data. Now, they're not just paying what the agent suggested, they're paying the number believing they got a good deal. That's why this phrase costs the absolute most. And to be quite frank with you, I see this happen at least once a month. The buyer walks in, asks the listing agent, what's the seller's bottom line? Agent says some number. Buyer offers 10 grand under, thinking it's them being aggressive or some shit. They close at that price. They feel good about it, but that number, it was 20 grand over what the seller would have actually taken. The buyer just paid $30,000 too much, and they have no idea. They think they got a good deal because they came in under the agent's number. And per usual, I got you. What do you do instead? Don't ask the listing agent anything about the price. Ever. Not what would they take? Not is the seller motivated? Not is there any wiggle room? Nothing. Your buyer's agent pulls comps. Look at the seller's situation. Look at the days on the market. Look at the recent sales in the neighborhood. That is where the real numbers come from actual data, not from the person who works for the other side. And honestly, this is the one I see cost buyers tens of thousands of dollars every single year. And the worst part is they walk away from the closing table feeling like they've won. Okay, so there you have it. 4 things you should never say to a real estate agent. Don't tell them you love the house. Don't reveal your your pre-approval max, don't brag about cash, and don't ever ask the listing agent what the seller would take. If you made it this far, you already know more about real estate negotiating than 95% of buyers walking into open houses this weekend. I do, however, have 3 asks before you go. Is please hit the like button if any of this helped. It tells YouTube to put this in front of more people who need to hear it. Also, drop a comment. Tell me which phrase you've said or have thought about saying before. No judgment. I want to know what people are saying. I read every comment and I love engagement. Also, do me a solid. Send this video to anyone in your life who's about to buy a house. This could literally save them 5 figures. And lastly, guys, if you're in Tulsa or moving to Tulsa, shoot me a message or grab my contact information in the description below. Let's run your real numbers together and tell you all about Tulsa. And guys, remember, whatever you decide, I'm in your corner. I'll see you in the next video.